You're sick of your 9 to 5, you hate the office, you want to do your hobby as a job. This was me when I was in my early 20s and I was desperate to work in a recording studio and I didn't want to work in an office anymore. I'd done a few years of working in offices and doing all kinds of really naff, horrible jobs. And I just really wanted, my hobby was music. I was playing in bands. I was writing music on an Atari. I was really into sound and I just wanted to be in that creative environment. It just really spoke to me. So I wrote off to loads and loads of different studios. Much harder to do it in those days. There wasn't as many studios as there are now. There aren't as many sort of home studios or project studios or people working in their own environments like this, their own spaces. So it was harder to get a job to, help somebody. And there wasn't any college courses to go on. I think there was SAE that I could have gone on back then, but it was mega expensive and it just didn't really appeal to me going back to school. That didn't really feel like I was achieving. It just felt like I was going backwards. I hated school. That wasn't really my thing. So I wrote off to loads of different studios and as luck would have it, I did get a job at Battery Studios after writing off a lot of handwritten letters to all the major places and getting rejected. But I know how it feels is what I'm saying, to work in those kind of environments and really want to do your hobby, your creative outlet as your main form of income. Now, these are the ways that I see that you can do that. And I think when you're younger, it is definitely easier because you don't have the stresses and strains of children, family, stuff like that, which I didn't when I started. So it was great. I was still living at home with my parents. So I didn't have any rent. I didn't have any bills to pay. I didn't have a wife and children. I didn't have a car that I needed to pay for. So I didn't really have any overheads. So it made it a lot easier for me to just go and work somewhere. For pretty much, I was working on such a small amount of money, it didn't really matter. It was just enough to get me petrol and get me to the studio, and I was fine with that. I'd earn okay money at the office jobs that I'd had, but I just really didn't want that, so I was willing to do it. It was fine. I knew in the end it would pay off and I would get more if I was really keen and wanted to do it, so I really didn't care. Money wasn't the thing. So what you have to do, if you're younger, you can do those kind of things. You can offer your services to somebody. Like somebody like me, it's like I'm looking for someone who can do things that I can't do or can do things quicker than I can do them. So that would be social media, admin, all the kind of things that you would do in an office, but you're in the environment of a studio. So at least it's a step in the right direction for you. And then you get to decide what you want to do. So if you're young enough to be able to do that without any overheads, amazing. Just do it for free. Get in there, get your foot in the door, find out what you love, what you want to do within that, and then grow your contacts, build your network, build your database of people, and just grow and grow and grow from there. And then you will end up in a position that you want to be in because you're so keen and you've had that horrible job before. And on that point, if you aren't in a horrible job and you are a student or something even lower than that, get a horrible job. You need to do some horrible jobs so that when you get into a studio, you'll appreciate it so much more and you'll appreciate, oh my God, this is so much better than that stuff. And it will make you work harder and really sort of focus in on what you want to do. So I suggest doing that with the goal of working for free or working for a small amount of money to work for somebody to then grow yourself. Now, if you're a bit older watching this and you want to turn your hobby into a job, but you've got a few overheads, you've got some rent, you've got stuff to pay for, then my main suggestion is, okay, you're going to have to do it in the evening, and then you're going to have to try and transition it from the evening to the day. So you're working your job, important to work your job. You don't want to be working on your hobby for money because that's going to stop you seeing opportunities or doing things for free to grow yourself in the same way that I said about anybody that's younger. You've basically got to take that advice of when you're younger, but add it to the evenings. But you're going to have to try and get yourself a network of people that you're working with in the evenings, whether you're going to a studio or whether you're working remotely for somebody or whether you're getting people to come to you or you're advertising yourself online. You've got to get a way of getting those people to you. You're probably not going to go and work in a studio because they're going to be a lot of daytime stuff, but you may get the opportunity to work in the evenings. There's a lot of downtime in studios in the evenings and weekends, so that's a great opportunity for you to say, okay, look, I can fill those hours for you, or let me come and work there at that time if there's someone in the building, and you can put work in then for those times, and I'll do that work for you. That's what I would suggest. It's just trying to find any way in the evenings and weekends, so that any of your free time that's away from having, work life and things like that, that's bringing money in so that you can afford to do those things for free in the evening is great. We used to have a guy at Battery Studios who would come in when I finished. He was an older guy. He was, in his 40s, I think, at the time, and I was a lot younger. He would come in about 6 o'clock and he would do like denoising and remastering work for people, because it wasn't stuff that was on a deadline that needed to be during the day for labels. So he would come in and do some like remastering, tweaking. It took ages, hang around the studios, get to meet people, got to know everybody. He'd then get other work coming in because of that. So he had this kind of whole life going on in the evenings that he could do the downtime. We were more than happy in the studio because it meant the studio was getting used, and he would feed a bit more money back into the room because people would pay, and then he'd get a cut of that and blah blah. So it does work. I've seen it work before, and so try and use that spare time that they've got free. They always want to fill that spare time. So if you're older and you've got some overhead, that's how I see you getting work there. Or if you're writing from home, then it's a question of maybe organising your emails so they're going out during the day to people so it looks like you're working, like fake the fact you're working during the day. And then as you build up the clients and as you build up more money and more work and you get enough money to transition from your day, then get rid of the day job as soon as possible and go 100% into the day job, and then do networking and all that kind of stuff that you need to do to get as many clients and as much work as you can. That goes for any part of the industry as well that you're working in. And then I would say if you're even older than that and you've got children and stuff like that, then it is a lot more difficult, because firstly, a lot of people don't want the older guy hanging around the studio, because if they're an older guy, they want them with experience. So it is difficult. I think the main thing you can do there is just when you're older, it's like you need to kind of see it as what it is. It's a hobby. You're probably earning a good deal of money. You've been working for about 30 or 40 years in what you're doing. Maybe that's a bit too far, 40 years, but maybe you've been working for 20, 30 years you've built yourself up in that field. So really you should just see it as a hobby and enjoy it for that. And that goes for anybody that is in the thing. Sometimes it is better to work and have a job during the day and to have a hobby as a hobby, because when a hobby is your job, it becomes your job. And I don't listen to any music outside of my work really as much as I did when I was not doing it as a job. I mean, yeah, I was a lot younger, so it was totally different from that point of view. But still, I don't have the same kind of, I'm listening on a technical level now, and I'm listening in different ways. So it's not like I'll find new music and really get into that in the same way. So, a builder's house is never finished, is it? So he's always got something to fix somewhere. But if he was doing it during the day for a client, it'd be perfect and looking lovely. So similar thing when you do it for a job, it's very much kind of, I'm not going to go home and master, and I'm not going to go home and like spend ages listening to music because I've been doing it all day. So that can be a downside of having it as a hobby. So if you are an older guy and it's not an option for you, not a career path that you're going to follow, then go all in on your hobby. It's great. Why wouldn't you just love it and really enjoy making music? I have a few clients that I work with who have got like steady, good jobs, really good jobs. And it means that they can then afford to go to a nice studio to record. It means they can afford to use me to master it. It means that they can do the things that they want to do and get some really high-end experiences in sound and things. So it's like it just works really well for them, and then they've got the money side sorted already. They don't need to worry about that. So it's more about, I can focus on my hobby and really enjoy that. So I think that's what I would suggest for anybody that's a lot older. But if you're 40 or so, you've still got another 40 years of working, so you've got time to do stuff, to just crack on and get doing it in the evenings, get working on stuff with people at weekends, and then transition it into your day job. And if you're younger, you've got to just go all in and just try and work for somebody for as free. Just do whatever they want you to do. Just get on with it, get in there, get in the music industry, work your way up, and then you can see the path. So yeah, it gets a little trickier as you get older, but it's never ever say never. Nothing's impossible. and you've just got to find your little niche into it. But don't be scared to do it as a hobby. Hobbies are great. I hope that's helped you. Please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.